The merchants of Elden Ring are lovely people, wandering around, shredding guitars with their donkeys, and offering you lanterns you don't need because you have every cave memorized. But sometimes your favorite merchant is gone, and you get a bell-bearing hunter instead. These telekinetic terrors are some of the hardest overworld bosses in the lands between. Weirdly enough though, you can get all of their gear before fighting a single remembrance boss. So let's pass time until the night, then wait at the grace again for some reason because that didn't work, because it's time for Bell-Bearing Hunter, Secret Starting Class. To watch these runs live, follow us on Twitch. That DLC will drop any day now, and you get to see my genuine first reactions for you. I have to make it content. That's my job. Join the Patreon to support the channel. It's the best place to support us, and you can vote in the polls for the next videos, or watch full exclusive episodes. If you don't have the money, you can just like the video, subscribe, maybe even leave a nice comment, or watch another video after this. All the algorithm stuff helps us out a lot too. Now let's start the build by fighting a bell-bearing hunter. Oh, that's how this one starts? Hey everybody, this video is sponsored by Squarespace. We kick it off as a bandit, the class most likely to steal from a merchant, and class most likely to have a buckler. That's important for later because we have to parry. Don't murder Kale, just buy the crafting kit for now, but dude, your days are numbered. All of ours are. Death will come for each of us one day, but death will have a harder time catching up to us if we're on horseback, so let's get one of those from Malenia, then ride up all the way to this strength boosting physic tier. The sword we're using later scales mostly with strength, like 80%. Bell-bearing hunters are rude, but I'm not gonna kill Alex, I'm not that evil. This merchant, however, he's got smithing stones we can't afford just yet, so
You're dead.
Backstab. He doesn't aggro. That makes me feel kind of bad. Second one he does, but we just slash him. How could I? It was very easy. You were a wimp. We're not delaying the fight to the Bell-Bearing Hunter, by the way. The physic tier is just on the way, as are better physic tiers. To get to Altus first, we must imagine hunting a Bell-Bearing in Fort height. My feet are so swift, we don't even have to deal with the Fort Knight. Just get the Dectus Medallion and warp out. Fort Faroth next, still no vigor, but it doesn't matter. I'm just fast as hell. These rats can't touch me. Off to the Round Table Hold, the Twin Maidens are at very least an accomplice to our merchant slaying, laundering the Bell-Bearings and whatever. I'm also just leveling up the dagger a little bit. I know we don't normally do that for secret starting class stuff, but it's just gonna be +4. Let me have a little more power, please. I'm desperate here. Fun fact, we were streaming this run during the Super Bowl because I figured there wasn't a huge overlap of football fans in my community. I was right, y'all a bunch of nerds. But that means I got distracted watching the new Deadpool trailer and forgot to grab a pickle before slashing the dragon. Wade Wilson would never forget to grab a pickle. It was a huge waste of time. I grabbed the Uchi out of the Death Touch catacombs. We're only gonna use it to slash the dragon. It has 10 more blood build up. If you're really upset that this is violating the rules of secret starting class, don't worry. No, it isn't. I make the rules, and I said this is fine.
Nothing matters! Nothing has any consequence!
I know it seems like this is starting off kind of bleak and hopeless, but I feel like we're about to repeat the start of the Crucible Night run, or more simply, I'm gonna die a lot. With 40 vigor, we can comfortably run up to Lernia, which is really just a pit stop on the way to the Slim Shady Castle. This merchant sells some Titanite shards, but I can't afford them all. He takes 2 backstabs before he gets angry. They're so patient. Nomadic merchants, after being backstabbed twice, be like,
It's a living.
Also, when the DLC comes out in 2 weeks, I'm sure it will, they gotta give us the merchant sets. It looks really cool. I don't care if it has the physical defensive paper mache. I'd wear it. Grab that dexterity tier just for the dagger we're using. It's a dex weapon. The sword we use later has E-dex scaling. E stands for, ew, Dragon Key. Warpy Warp. Meet a merchant we're gonna spare because he doesn't sell anything I want. I guess rune arcs, but that's only an issue if we die a lot after we get the gear. Don't see that being much of a problem. Hop on the elevator. It's Altus time. After we grab one more smithing stone, so the dagger can get to +4. Fighting Elmer of the Briar with a +0 great knife at level 30 is a terrible idea. Fighting him with a +4 great knife at level 30 is still bad. It's just a bad idea +4. Time for the Slim Shady Castle. It feels so empty without Malenia. There's a lot of posters of her up. Although I don't think this was her castle, I think the Melee family just likes her. Time to fight Elmer Fudd, and our strategy is simple. Parry him. Parrying is really good in this game, and he has several moves you can parry, except the shield slam, and every attack he has where his sword glows red. That's 90% of his attacks. Also, they have a sustained hitbox that lasts 5 to 10 business days, so have fun trying to dodge him. First attempt, he really just didn't do the parryable moves. The drill is easy enough to dodge, as is the grab, but I've got to remember, some of the attacks you punish with 2 hits from the knife, some you punish with 3 hits. If I do 3 when I should do 2, I'm gonna get hit and die. Honestly, I still think this dude is sick. I hate fighting bell-bearing hunters, but they are cool. I think making them a fun boss fight isn't even that hard. You just gotta scale their damage down by like 25%. You have something like the Morgott boss fight, where the attacks are super fast, the boss is super aggressive, but it's just chipping you down. This dude hits like Malekith, but swings as fast as Garunk, and that's not fun. My parries are honestly cracked. I just have to get like 12 of them in a fight to win, until he puts the red energy on his melee attacks anyway. Why can't I parry those? Just because he's putting telekinetic energy into each attack to push it harder than it can be parried? That's really cool, actually. God, this guy's cool.
I'm gonna rip you in half now.
I put a clip in because attempt 5 was bad. I didn't want to linger on that one. Attempt 6 is worse. I'm getting worse at it. Not a great sign. The Stake America is really nice. We get to respawn, run in, and die again really fast. At least it's not a big long slog of a rung back. Yeah, getting worse at parrying as the attempts go, but the shield explosion is also a nice punish window. We can get a few slashes in. Bleed procs and crits are all of our damage here. Since it takes 2 parries to actually get the crit, the first one is just for 3 slashes. Then the second one gets the crit and a few slashes while he stands up. As long as we stay in tight, he'll mostly go for moves that we can dodge or parry. But screwing up once will shove us away and make the telekinesis sword more likely, the one with, the insane hitbox. Thankfully, he's doing drillekinesis, which is ideal to punish. One final parry and we get the win. For all that worrying I did, this only took 10 minutes and 6 deaths at level 30 with a dagger and a shield. That's fine, y'all. I think we've all been a little brain broken by Elden Ring challenge videos and expect every boss fight to be a hitless, no scope, where we use a harp instrument as a controller. But remember, gamers at home, if it takes you 10 minutes to beat an Elden Ring boss, you're cracked. The game is hard. You don't have to play it perfectly to be good at it or even to enjoy it. Now we have all the gear of the bell-bearing hunter, so no merchants are safe. But if you want to sell your merch safely, the Lands Between was never the right place. You need to check out today's sponsor, Squarespace. That's right, gamers, this video is sponsored by Squarespace, the best place for you to set up your online shop or merch store for your side hustle or entrepreneurial endeavor. Getting started is easy thanks to the Fluid Engine. You don't have to be a software wizard, you just have to know how to drag and drop, and you'll be able to make something look great. Start with a basic template and then choose from a bunch of customization options to make your site pop. I was able to put together On Your Work Computer, a little corporate blog parody. A nice simple monochromatic color scheme really gave an air of professionalism to my goofs. When you start selling your stuff, Squarespace will give you analytics to know where your customers are coming from and which items are the hottest tickets. That way you don't stock up on Rift Shields when everyone wants to just buy Rune Arcs. Oh, you also don't have to handle that inventory. Squarespace will handle that, production and shipping for you. The fun parts. Just kidding, they're not the fun parts. They're the bad parts. Sorry to all the fans of inventory management out there, I guess. Go to squarespace.com to get started with your free trial today. When you're ready to publish, go to squarespace.com/tulokmango and enter offer code tulokmango at checkout for 10% off your first website or domain. Now that you're safely selling your products, let's go back to being an occupational hazard to the merchants of the Lands Between.
Touch with the ground, I'm on the hunt, I'm after you.
Wee little problem. Even with all of the dragon runes, we don't have enough levels to properly use the sword. I mean, we could have had enough proper levels, but what am I supposed to do? Wait for 40 vigor? While we run around to grab the other pickle and limgrave, let's get a little lore from the sword and shield description. Storied sword of House Marais, the family of executioners who presided over the Shaded Castle. One of the legendary armaments. Elemer of the Briar, the bell-bearing hunter, snatched the sword from the site of his looming execution and furnished it with battle skills from his home of the Ayo Chad. Eo Chide. E-I-E-I-O Chad. Yeah, that's the one. That's Gaelic for horse. So honestly, an old McDonald joke isn't totally out of line. Sorry to all the naysayers out there. Basically, the Ayo Chads have telekinesis, allowing Elmer to literally hit his executioner with an Uno reverse card. From the shield, great shield from a foreign land, used by Elmer of the Briar. Attacks with this armament utilize the iron thorns that have been wound around its frame. Originates from a land of proudly solitary ascetics. That means they don't have any fun or indulgences, in case you want to win a Jeopardy question, other than the merchant murdering, apparently. That's their only vice. Also, the shield has less than 100% physical defense, weighs 9.5 pounds, and doesn't even get the unique charge that Elmer uses. Weak stuff. 2 out of 10. Flavor fail, go to flavor jail. Now, how do I plan to beat the Knights Cavalry using a weapon we can't properly wield?
Manifestation. Now I'm gonna get so much money.
Did the Knights Cavalry really fall off? Or was it horse telekinesis? Remember, means horse. It's literally horse telekinesis. That's actually still not enough runes to get our arcane where we need it to be, so we sell some stuff, including the shield. I mean, maybe if it had a cool Ash of War, sure. I'm fine using shields as a weapon. Apparently, several of them even work well as weapons. This one doesn't work well as a weapon or a shield. It works as a way to get 500 runes, though. Still short, so let's head over to the Divine Tower of Caelid, hippie hop up for the Newman rune. That's more than enough runes to hit the arcane requirement. We're still gonna have to chug the strength physic to use it anyway, so let's use the extra runes, buy somber stones from Edgy, and level this sword up to +2 before we take on a boss. Stillwater Cave, we still have no armor. We're gonna get poisoned. We're for sure gonna get rotted if I don't look at the knight and get grabbed. Uh-oh. The drill works alright, but she can block after she gets hit by the drill? That doesn't seem right. Our physic wears out and the damage falls off hard when we lose the stats. Only need a few more hits. We have to roll in the poison, so that will be 2 DOTFX, but we still pull it out before the poison actually starts. Barely. The Clean Rot drops the Winged Sword insignia for 10% more damage when we get a big combo going. The Drill Sword does work for this, unlike a lot of other multi-hit Ashes of War. Why does this work when others don't? No clue. Moving on. Fighting 1 Clean Rot Knight in a Poison Swamp Cave was fun. Let's upgrade that to fighting 2 Clean Rot Knights in a Rot Swamp Cave. Drill it. It blocks, then drill again and it backs up. That's unfair. With 2 of them out, committing to the drill is a bit too much. Gotta switch to the Great Sword charged attacks, but a crit will get us the kill.
Why won't you die?
We all thought she was dead, right? Now I gotta back up, wait for an opening for 1 more hit. There we go. Now we can focus the Scythe Knight. She can't block. Time to drill. After 2 drills, we are at max combo boost for the crit, and that feels pretty good. Now we're gonna make even more money. Time to play the rest of the game. It might look like I'm getting tilted while we fight Margit, and I am, but it's not at Margit. The fight goes pretty good. We walk up and drill. There's a bunch of super armor on it, so we can tank through his attacks. A few R1s and a jump attack gets the stance break. Drilling is a better punish than a crit. Whoops, forgot to take the armor off after going through the Rot Swamp, but there we go, did it. Just dodge in, get some hits, and keep being tilted because people keep telling me to play Baldur's Gate 3, and I don't want to. I don't want to do that. We won. Also, everyone, I cut out like a 4-minute rant about why I don't want to play Baldur's Gate 3, and you know what? Hot take. I don't have to tell you why I don't want to. I just said no. That's good enough. Let's fight Godric, drill him, whiff a jump attack over the earthquake, and hot swap in the middle of the boss fight again. Forgot Margit gave us another pocket. Despite it not having the armor, I'm just trading into phase 2. We could have cleared this so easy, but I got hit by the tail end of the Dragonfire, and now we have to fight phase 2 Godric. I never do that. We get grabbed, we're seeing more of his moves. This is weird. Don't worry, he gave us an opportunity to redeem our punishment for the fire breath, and got bodied for it. Now that we've killed a remembrance boss, we can buy the bell-bearing set in the Round Table Hold, which means it's time for more lore. The winding rusted iron briars are the mark of the guilty and typically indicate a sentence of death. They also cause this armor to deal damage when performing dodge rolls. Elmer murdered numerous instructors and merchants and was known as the bell-bearing hunter. They wrapped Elmer in thorns before chopping his head off, and then dude said, "No you," and went on a killing spree, or was being executed for doing the spree. Either way, that is a horror movie villain origin story. Elmer is the Leatherface of the lands between. You know what would make him even scarier? If we turned on Godric's Great Rune for +5 to every stat. The sword technically scales with 3 stats, even if, no it doesn't, just max strength and move on. You know what merchant should really feel Elmer? Patches. But Nerd Juice is blocking away. He doesn't even try to dodge the drill.
You know those days when you're like, this might as well happen?
If NPCs don't dodge the drill, that's funny. Let's see if Patches can dodge. No, he just dies. I think the devs might have played favorites with the drill sword, and hey, they were right to do it. It looks pretty cool. Now that we have the pickle recipe, let's just go get over-leveled and fight the putrid avatar. Our damage is not the best. The weapon is still only at +4, and we're barely hitting the requirements to use it when we use the physic. Honestly, I was a bit worried that this would be able to stall me out with the 3-minute timer on the fight for the physic, especially with Elden Stars Jr. functioning as a get off me button. But of course, we nail it. Not fast enough to get Grail with the same pickle. I mean, I guess I didn't try, but this thing just needs some levels. Grail is janking it up as per usual, making us whiff. That's actually going to end up being a problem with the sword though. I just thought it was a Grail thing. Despite having thick damage, it's not actually a very long greatsword.
We got a certified chode on our hands. Little tuna can.
Hey, Boggart sells shrimp.
Do I look like a steak to you? Yeah.
But maybe Elmer is a complicated villain. He gives the necklace back to Raya. Maybe he's nice, and the merchants are bad. They do tend to say shady stuff like, "Don't ask how I got these goods." That's pretty sus. We're up to Volcano Manor to upgrade the sword, free Somber Stones 5 and 6 in the town, but in reverse order, wowee. For a 7, we gotta get behind the Godskin Noble, bait him into a silly fireball, and whiff the punish because of the bad spacing. I double checked, this is in the lower half of greatsword lengths, but it's not the size of the boat, it's the motion of the ocean, and this thing has the greatest power in Elden Ring, spinning. Look, we use that clip a lot, but to be fair, spinning is OP in Elden Ring. The Dancing Blade, Black Flame Tornado, Spinning Slash on the Dragon Halberd, Stormcaller, even Ice Spear starts with you spinning that spear. In Elden Ring, if you're spinning, you're winning. Grab the Stone Sword key from the shortcut path and immediately use it to go through the fog wall, drop down for a somber 7. With that, we have enough upgrade materials to get the sword up to +9. If spinning was strong at +6, imagine how nice it's gonna be at +9. Radon is the first guy I want to drill. I feel like after this gnarly pneumatic blaster, his hole is gonna be bigger than in any of the runs we've done before. I'm charging in, summoning some other people, but not really caring too much about it. All I want is that stance break, and the drill doesn't quite kill. But apparently, I forgot to summon Okina, the summon who does the most damage. Whoops. Could have been a 1 cycle if I wasn't a silly goose. 2 dead shard parers means another pocket. O'Neil flips our Radon strategy against us, summoning a ton of soldiers. Today, we're the raid boss, but I just ignore them and drill away. It hits hard enough that I kill him before the soldiers can kill us. Brutal. Standard Millicent quest. Cure her sickness, fall down Celia, move her to Altus, back to the Shaded Castle for the Valkyrie prosthesis, then give it back to Millicent in Altus so we can summon her for the Godskin Apostle fight. We don't summon her for the Godskin Apostle fight, but look who's been raiding up on the meta. He even tries to get a second spinning move for phase 2, but I don't let him finish it. Sorry, there's only room for 1 spinning expert in Altus. Is the ducky dance a spin? Kind of. Oh well, Millicent doesn't get to do it. We kill her and take the arm for 11% more damage on a combo with an extra 5 dexterity. That doesn't help. Remember, E-scaling means ew. Time for the nerds of Raya Lucaria to feel our wrath, starting with the dog, the one on the elevator. Yikes. Then the wolf. Yeah, really giving off the serial killer vibes. Killing the red wolf is a huge red flag, especially because we don't even spin there. We just slash him with a normal sword. Yuck. Welcome back to the best game show in the lands between. Can Moonrum parry it? Today, the horse's dancing blade. Let's see. And that's a big no. Thanks for playing. Renala and her kids. Yikes, that seems pretty mean. And ooh, that health bar just got deleted in phase 1 and in phase 2.
Oh my God! That went south so fast!
That was a 6-minute Raya Lucaria. If your school lets you graduate in 6 minutes, it's not real. Time to enter Radon's hole, and wow, the drill must have done some damage. We actually have to take the armor off for the Mimic Tear, otherwise it could roll us to death with the Briar Set. Think about it, rolling is just a spin you do with your body.
Mother of God.
Light all the torches and then enter the Dream of a Moose, taking a page out of Freddy Krueger's book, I guess. Obviously the giant moose is good at dodging our attacks. You can't have a giant moose that doesn't know how to dodge. I tried to greed through the healing explosion, but its weird body makes us miss with the drill. It is standing still. How do we miss? Just an awkward body. It's hard to hit with the chode sword. We do win. It's fine. Carry a manner? Maybe horse telekinesis will help with that. It will certainly help lift Loretta from her mortal coil or her ghostly coil. She is a ghost here, but she's alive in the Howling Tree. Is Ronnie just a fan of hers? Why is Loretta here? Either way, she's dead. Maybe she'll just be harder when she unlocks the glaive spinning technique. Talk to Ronnie, go back underground, bring her the knife, get the statue so we can eventually Freddy Krueger Fia's dragon in her dreams. Tale as old as time. In Cell Rivermain, the horse folk are ascetics, so
It all makes sense. You're a virgin.
I am. Shut up.
don't need any ghost warts Elmer doesn't summon because he doesn't have any friends. Astel is a silly goose and leads with the tail stab. That's a free drill punish. It's so goddamn easy when he picks bad moves. I highly doubt the valiant gargoyles are going to be as kind. We're not going to use the drill. I'm worried their spindly legs will make them whiff. Regal Sinnoh Spirit is actually a very good measurement of how the gargoyles are going to go. Once we get a stance break though, then we drill it. And yeah, it dies. The second one gets its stance broken up on a hill. Of course they want to be janky. Still a win, or should I say, drill a win. I shouldn't, we didn't drill to win. Into the deep root depths, more like Rune Arc Hunter, we popped the ants. Always pop the ants on your way down to deep root. These champs are NPCs. So far, they haven't been able to avoid drilling. Let's see if that changed. Not for the first one. Not for Roger. Not for Lionel. The Gish gets slashed and the Poise Boys gets drilled. Sorry we didn't drill you, Gish. I just get a little overwhelmed after drilling 3 people in a row. Royal Capital, obviously this Erdtree Avatar sap will be easy to drill. We don't get the Ritual Shield Talisman. And that was a mistake. Not a mistake I'm gonna realize now. It'll take a little longer. Shade Time, we can't just raw drill him, but we can get hit by every one of his attacks. Come on, Phil, press the circle button just one time for me. If you can't drill them raw, get them on their knees, and then drill them in the mouth. After popping the pickle for the win, we have 3 minutes to kill Morgoth without wasting it. Gamers, I am pressing forward to get a stance break. Then, we get a drill. Ouch from the phase transition, and then get hit with the swords, that's not bueno. But a few more hits, and we did it. Saved the pickle, extra runes, less farming. Obviously, the ascetic can save his pickle. He's saving it for marriage. And since he's a little bit of a psycho, that marriage is probably to like a skeleton or like a doll that's face has a bunch of scratches on it.
Fire, psycho killer, qu'est-ce que c'est?
For Bidenlands, did you know that the most effective way to reduce violent crime is to reduce poverty? Turns out criminals are people, the majority of whom are committing crimes out of desperation rather than malice. The mentally ill are more likely to be victims of violent crimes than they are to be the assailants. All this to say, spending the bulk of your state's budget on police would be better served forging a social safety net, which wouldn't just help the hungry and unhoused, but also help everyone who doesn't like violent crime. Batman is a cartoon, he's not real, and shouldn't be our goals for the real world. We're not going for the fire giant, we're heading right for Nile. Imagine getting drilled in the castle's hole. This is where we needed the Ritual Shield Talisman. Drilling Soul Drad's ghost, great, I just blast each of them once. But the damage from the bosses is really high at this point in the game if you're not wearing the Ritual Shield. And he stands up too fast for us to drill him through the stance break. His leg headshots us with the lightning slash, and then we die. I gotta respect his flexibility. First death since getting the gear though, we're still doing fine. The drill is just a big commitment. Thankfully, he does the Omega attack. That lets us get a whole lot of drilling off, but no stance break. Really thought this thing would be putting the pressure on. Even after that, it takes a bunch more greatsword hits before he falls down. And we don't kill with the drill. So a few more hits on us, and then we just tap him a few more times. Weirdly rough Nile fight. Hopefully that's not an omen for the future. Drilling the old man will let us hit the consecrated snowfield where we can fix the damage issue. I know we haven't had an issue dealing damage, but we could do a little more. Anastia jumps over the drill. Oh no, what do we do? Oh no, she's still dead. Yeah, that's fine. She just dodged it once. Good for her. It's better than everyone else. Anastia dropped the Somber Stone 10, so now we're maxed out, but the big damage buff is coming from this putrid avatar. Probably shouldn't have just raw drilled it, but oh well. Stance break, safe drill, and then a few more taps for the Thorny tier. We're wearing the Thorny armor, and this is the Thorny tier that boosts combo damage by 20%. Everything in this game is named so perfectly, except the Briar spells that Elmer of the Briar doesn't use. Although, according to my spell enjoyers in the comments, I was unfair to spells. They're supposed to be used in addition to your weapons moveset. Elmer obviously has the Briar spells equipped, he just never uses them because they're terrible. But that means that the Briar spells, and every other spell in the game, is viable and fantastic because you can have it equipped while you use a greatsword. Fire Giant is big and slow. Drill once to break the ankle, drill again to do more damage, and jump attack for more pressure. He's climbed up the janky hill, but we're still able to get in and break the stance. I don't hit his ankle. Instead, I just wait for him to stand up, so the drill affects his stance going into phase 2. Drilling the hand now, then run around and drill between the thighs of Big Chungus. It's a rough job, but we still do it. Google Elmer, Big Chungus, thigh job on your work computer to find out more. Malenia burns down the tree forest, loves starting small fires, and we're off to Farum Azula. No spirit ash means it's just us and Bernie against the world. Elmer didn't kill him, he always comes back anyway. This thing just rips through the Godskin Noble. Then we run over to the Apostle that Bernie has busy and rip through them too. Another noble, and the last Apostle tries to use spinning against us, but you merely adopted the spinning. I was born in it. Molded by it. Alex is up on Gelnir, say hi to him in the hot tub, and sure, we can fight the magma orb. Its charge attack is unpunishable, but it's not going to spam that 1, 2, 3, 4 times in a row and then stun lock us in the magma to kill us. That sucks. This is the beginning of the bad times, gamers. Alex goes fine. The jar shard will crank our damage up by another 15% on the Ash of War. That's great. But remember how we're kind of dealing with a chode situation here? The beast clergyman does. He doesn't stop hippie hopping around making all of our attacks whiff so he can kill us. This sucks. We didn't even make it to phase 2. Okay, I guess we gotta kill the tree sentinel outside if we're gonna do this a lot. Unless we whiff the drill while it was stance broken. How do you miss a horse that can't move? Yeah, we died. Ritual Shield Talisman is just kind of mandatory at this point in the game, and we don't have it. Second try, the horse dies, but the clergy is still not sitting still. Phase 2, our stumpy little sword just won't stop whiffing. Whiffing means no stance pressure, which means punishment and death when you don't have that dang Ritual Shield Talisman. If Mally's body wasn't simply triangular, this would be fine, but his chest is constantly pushing us off of him, so we whiff over and over again. 3 deaths to Malekith feels bad, but it isn't. I'm just kind of used to winning when I have a weapon. Like, sorry you're catching strays everywhere, spell enjoyers, but like, if I used a spell here, I would have died like 20 times, and then I would have been like, oh, that was pretty good. Gideon gets drilled, but doesn't die. Oh no, we actually have to fight him, and it's kind of a bullet hell. Much like Sans the funny skeleton though, we don't have to hit him a lot to make him die. Godfrey next, just like last time, I decide to get hit by everything. Stance break, drill, go to phase 2. Drill after he whiffs the grab, it's pretty free. Doesn't matter if I just totally flubbed in the first bit. Radagon puts the hammer down on us, and I think I see the biggest problem with this build and this sword. It was midnight when I recorded this. Time to level with you, gamers. I'm rushing through this run. There's a longer video we're working on. It took longer than we thought. And then I started working on a slightly less longer video that was still too long, so we needed a quick one. And I started streaming this too late, but we kind of had to do it in one stream. So 5 hours into the run, I was already 15 hours into my workday on a Sunday, and your boy was sleepy and just kind of playing like shit. Attempt 2, we remember to press the circle button every now and then. What a concept. Still kind of screw up the grab dodge, not enough to get grabbed, but enough that we take the shockwave. Stance break him out of the hammer slammer, and it's time for the Elden Beast. Pop that drill and...
That's a lot of damage.
But remember, the chode. We whiff a jump attack that I am 90% sure would have gotten us the stance break and the kill on the Elden Beast before it even got to try the rings. That's a bummer. However, after chasing it down, hitting some charge attacks, we do break it out of the Elden Stars and...
Drill, baby, drill!
I put Rudy Giuliani on because today we're playing an evil character. That's one dead god to the power of drill. Of course, we all know drilling means spilling, and spilling means cleanup. So it's time to get clean. Now, you all know how much I love Placidusax, right? Gotta be one of the bosses in the game. We break him down and drill for a cool 5,000 damage combo, but like, that didn't look like it did that much damage. Hey, remember Renala? That was a less leveled up sword without the Alexander boost. How is this only doing a 1/5 of a health bar when it basically cleared her out in one hit? Well, Placidusax comes from the damage sponge theory of boss design. If you want to make the bad dragon harder, just inflate its health and damage. Google bad dragon inflation getting harder on your work computer to find out more. Placidusax has more than 3 times the health of both phases of Renala combined. That's thick. Let's try that again. Same strategy, break him down, drill, he'll go for the TP phase. With attacks, You can't punish before he teleports away. It's just like not how I like a FromSoft boss to go. You're supposed to avoid a big attack, and then you get your turn to hit. They turned that off for Placiduous X. We get another stance break eventually, and actually drill him before he can even attempt the Omega Laser. The damage is still cracked, I don't like how much health this boss has. Penguin Noble doesn't avoid drilling, makes sense. Drilling is going to kill all of the penguins in a few decades. This merchant sells rune arcs, but it's been a minute.
Treat yourself.
Time to die. The merchants have frenzy, by the way, if you didn't know that. Also, sometimes the graces make you bleed. That's Mogwin for you. We don't need a stance break against Moog to drill, get 10% of his health down, and he'll do a silly counting attack. Then, just keep comboing the drill, and he's dead. No phase 2. Remember, if you don't like a boss's second phase, kill them. Rykard.
Pass.
Carrion Study Hall.
Pass.
Fia.
Smash.
Sorry if we're a little thorny, the spikes just don't come off. Forward is smash or forward to pass? It's a pass. Ancient Dragons would be better fight if you could just lock onto those toes. It's so annoying. One successful drill takes out half his health. I guess that's nice. Liturgical Town, uneventful. We get grabbed. That's sort of just a die roll. 60 Vigor remains unbeaten. Haligtree also uneventful. It's horse on horse violence with the EO Chode Virgin against the down bad horse girl. This is the world's saddest fighting game, but we come out on top after drilling that horse. LFL is an exercise in falling down and pressing circle to go through Poopy. Today we have a dagger, some soldier dropped along the way, so we're hitting L2 instead. What a world. The Dragon Crest Great Shield is actually our first defensive boost talisman of the run, giving us 20% more physical resistance right before Malenia. Hopefully that makes it feel a little better. We're gonna be here for a minute, so let's start with science. Doesn't seem like drilling is gonna stun lock her. She just backs out of it and then hits us with the ducky dance. Oh no. It's still a great sword, but its chody nature is gonna be a problem, I think. Attempt 2 will continue with science. First, I'm just gonna try raw dog it in again. And yeah, she backs away with super armor. Not the move. She won't walk into it either. But uppercut is her most punishable move, and yep, seems like that worked. She just kind of stands there and takes the drill. Her weird stance pressure is preventing stance breaks despite us landing multiple charged heavies. I bait out the ducky dance, and holy crap, this punishes the ducky dance well. That's wild. I always got kind of mad that you can never get in on her big like cloud. We're into phase 2. I won't take the onion, but I will take a tick of it to get a free drill. Another one when she does the charged uppercut. We're already in a second onion, and wait, I can do that much damage with a drill. Second try win. I have no idea if this would be consistent, but we fucking take those. At 5 hours and 49 minutes, we beat 35 bosses and died 15 times. It's funny that we just beat Malenia in the run because this ends up at the top of A tier, just above Malenia. A solid Ash of War is pretty unbeatable in this game, and this one can get buffed up 1,000 different ways. Getting it is a little painful, but once you do, you're rewarded with a really fun weapon. That would be a lot more fun if it was a few inches longer. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe for more. We find new ways to play Elden Ring all the time. Join the Patreon to support the channel, or for some exclusive videos, and follow us on Twitch if you want to hang out while we do really stupid things in Elden Ring.